Does a flipping body follow a parabolic path along its center of mass? And, if so, can we find the center of mass? This is the video that we chose to analyze in order to answer these two questions. We began by estimating the relative masses of different parts of Greg's body based on their areas on a picture we took of Greg. We then graphically determined the center of mass of each part. We then tracked the motion of each of these centers of mass frame by frame in Logger Pro. This allowed us to track the motion of Greg's body as if it were the motion of 4 rigid segments corresponding to the sections in the photo. This is what the video looked like with all of the plotted points on it. Here is a graph of the y position of each of these points with respect to time. We then calculated the overall center of mass as a weighted average of each section's center of mass according to its relative mass. Here is a graph of the y position of the overall center of mass with respect to time. This is a quadratic regression of our graph. The first coefficient indicates that Greg was accelerating downward at 10.98 meters per second squared, which is slightly higher than the conventional 9.8 due to an error explained later. The second two coefficients are not physically relevant because he did not jump at time equals 0. For comparison, here is a graph of the y position of Greg's standing center of mass with respect to time. As you can see, its shape is not nearly as parabolic because Greg's center of mass changed as his body changed shape in midair. Most of our error arose from the fact that the meter stick we used to calibrate Logger Pro was much farther from the camera than Greg was. This made his size, velocity, and acceleration seem much greater than they actually were. Our mass measurements also contributed to our error as they assumed that Greg's body had uniform thickness and density. If we were to perform this experiment again, we would have divided Greg's body into more segments for measurement. Additionally, we would have placed the calibration ruler at the same distance away from the camera as Greg.